The octopus that can disappear in plain sight. Part 1. Hook. There is a creature in the ocean that can become anything, not by hiding, but by transforming right in front of you. A rock, a shadow, something that was never there. And by the time you realize what you're looking at, it's already gone. Part 2. Word Introduction. Beneath the surface of the ocean, a different world exists. Light bends and fades as it sinks deeper, scattering into shifting patterns across coral and sand. Nothing here is still. Currents move constantly. Colors flicker and change. Shapes blur into one another. It is a world built on illusion, where survival depends not on strength, but on deception. Among reefs, rocks, and endless stretches of open seafloor, countless creatures compete for space and survival. Predators glide silently through the water. Prey vanish into coral labyrinths. Every surface becomes a disguise, every shadow potential threat. But even in the world defined by camouflage, one creature stands apart. It does not just blend in, it rewrites reality itself. The octopus. Part 3. Survival rules. In the ocean, there is nowhere to hide. No trees, no shadows that stay still. No solid ground that guarantees safety. Everything moves, everything shifts, and everything is watching. Predators come from every direction. From above, fish with sharp vision, scanning the seafloor with the slightest movement. From the sides, fast hunters, striking without warning. And from below, creatures that wait, buried, unseen, until something passes too close. In this world, survival is not about speed alone, because no matter how fast you are, something else is faster. It's not about strength either, because no matter how strong you are, something else is stronger. Here, survival belongs to those who can disappear. Many creatures attempt it. Fish flatten their bodies against the sand. Crabs bury themselves beneath it. Others mimic colors and patterns just enough to avoid detection. But the octopus plays a different game entirely. It does not simply match its surroundings, it becomes them. Its skin is alive with thousands of specialized cells chromatophores. It's bending and contracting in an instant. Color shifts ripple across its body like moving light. But color is only the beginning. Beneath the surface, muscles reshape its skin, turning smooth flesh into rough coral, jagged rock, or drifting algae. It can it can change not just how it looks, but how it feels to the eye. To a predator scanning the seafloor, there is nothing there. No movement, no outline, no target. And that is the true rule of survival in this world. If you cannot be seen, you cannot be hunted. But there is one more rule. One the octopus understand better than anything else. Sometimes is the best way to survive. Is not to disappear, but to become something else entirely. Carlo, mini story block 1. On the ocean floor, nothing seems out of place. Fragments of coral lie scattered across the sand. Small rocks cast sharp shadows beneath shifting light. Everything appears still, harmless, unnoticed. But one of those rocks is not a rock. It hasn't moved for minutes. Not a twitch, not a ripple. Even the current flows around it as if it truly belongs there. Nearby, a small crab emerges cautiously from beneath the sand. Its movements are quick, alert, posing between steps, sensing for danger, but there is nothing to see. No predator, no motion, only the quiet seafloor, unchanged. The crab moves closer, one step, then another. It passes within inches of the rock. Still nothing happens, because the octopus is waiting. Its body flattened against the sand. Skin texture into rough, uneven patterns. Its color perfectly matched, not just to the sand, but to the shadows between cranes, the subtle variations of light. Even its outline is gone. There is no shape to detect, no signal of life, only absence. The crab lowers its guard, and in that instant, the illusion breaks. The rock exploded into motion. Arms extend in every direction, wrapping with impossible speed. Suction cups lock into place. The crab reacts too late. It thrashes, claws, snapping blindly at something it cannot escape. But the octopus is already in control, precise, efficient. Within seconds, the struggle ends. The seafloor returns to stillness. The octopus settles back down, reshaping itself once more. Color fades, texture shifts, And just like that, the predator disappears again, as if it was never there, but elsewhere, in a part of the ocean where blending in is not enough. Something far more dangerous is about to happen. Call Loop Mini Story Block 2. Far from the quiet seafloor, in shallower waters where light cuts sharply through the ocean, hiding becomes harder. Shadows are softer, details are clearer, and mistakes are easier to see. A small octopus moves carefully across open sand. There is nowhere to disappear here. No rocks, no coral, no cover. Every movement exposes it, and it knows it. In the distance, a predator patrols the water, a fast moving fish scanning constantly, searching for anything out of place. The octopus freezes. For a moment, it considers the impossible. There is nothing to blend into, nowhere to hide. Running would only reveal it. Fighting is not an option. So instead, it does something else. Its body begins to change, not just color, shape. The smooth form collapses and pulling together, stretching outward in a new configuration. Its skin darkens into bone buttons. Bands of color ripple across its body strap, constructing unmistakable. Its posture shifts from prey, not something else entirely, something dangerous. In seconds, the, the octopus is no longer an octopus. It becomes the shape of a venomous sea snake, long, striking, alive with warning. The predator slows, hesitates, because this is not what it expected to find. It circles cautiously, keeping its distance, watching, trying to understand what it sees. But the illusion is convincing, too convincing. The cost of getting it wrong is too high. The predator turns away and disappears into the open water. The danger passes, and just as quickly the illusion dissolves. The octopus relaxes, its body reshaping once again, color softening, patterns fading back into neutrality. It is no longer a threat, no longer something else, just another creature on the ocean floor, alive, because it chose not to hide, but to deceive. Meanwhile, in deeper water where darkness hides even greater dangers, not every illusion works, not e- and not every escape is successful. Column Mini Story Block 3. Deeper beneath the surface, light begins to fade. Colors lose their meaning. Shadows stretch into endless darkness. Here, illusion becomes harder to control because in the deep, predators don't rely on sight alone. A lone octopus moved cautiously across the rocky seabed, its body shifting softly with each change in terrain. Its skin flickers between muted tones, blending, adapting, surviving. But something else is already aware of it, hidden within a narrow crevice, a moray ways. It does not see the world the way others do. It senses movement, pressure, the faintest disturbance in the water. To it, the octopus cannot truly disappear. The octopus pauses. Something feels wrong. The water around it carries a tension subtle, almost invisible but present. It shifts its color again, flattens its body, becomes part of the rock, still silent, perfect. For a moment, nothing happens. Then the water explodes. The moray lunged from the crevice with terrifying speed, jaw snapping forward in the blur of motion. The octopus reacts instantly, not by fighting, not by hiding, but by escaping. A cloud of ink erupts into the water, thick, dark, disorienting. The ocean fills with confusion. Shapes vanish. Direction collapses. Inside the chaos, the octopus moves, jetting backward with sudden force, its body contracting and releasing, pushing water behind it in rapid bursts. Faster, further, away, behind it. The eel strides blindly into the cloud, jaws snapping through nothing. The illusion has worked, but only barely. The octopus does not stop. It doesn't look back. Because in this world, survival is not about winning. It is about escaping just long enough to live another moment. Eventually, the darkness swallows it one more. The ink fades. The ocean returns to silence, but something has changed. Because now, the octopus knows not every predator can be fooled, and not every encounter can be controlled. But another part of the ocean where life begins instead of ends, a different kind of challenge is waiting. Called Mini Story Block 4. In a quiet crevice, far from the open currents and constant danger, a different story unfolds. No hunting, no deception, only waiting. A female octopus clings to the rock ceiling. Her body wraps gently around a cluster of tiny, translucent eggs. Hundreds of them, each one fragile, each one a future that depends entirely on her. She does not, she does not leave. She cannot for weeks, sometimes months. She remains here, guarding, protecting. Her arms move so slowly, carefully, cleaning each egg, removing debris, keeping them free from harm. Water flows gently over them as she fans them with constant, rhythmic motion. Oxygen, life, every second matters. Outside the crevice, the ocean continues as it always has. Predators hunt, currents shift, time moves forward. But here, time stands still. The mother grows weaker. She has not eaten, cannot live without risking everything. Her body begins to change. Color fades, movements slow, but still she does not let go. A small fist grips too close. Instantly, her arm reacts. Not with the speed of a hunter, but with the urgency of protection. It is driven away. Nothing is alone near. Nothing. They stretch into weeks. The eggs begin to change. Tiny shape forming within, barely visible, yet unmistakably alive. The mother watches, waits, endure, and then movement. One by one, the eggs begin to hatch. Tiny octopuses emerge, drifting upward into the water, carried by currents they cannot yet control. A new generation released into a world that will not protect them. The mother remains still. Her task is complete. Her strength gone. She does not follow. She does not hunt again. Because in this world, some lives are not meant to continue, only to ensure that others can begin. Her body loosened its hold on the rock, drifting slightly as the ocean reclaims it what it once gave. And just like that, the one who spent her life becoming invisible disappears for the last time. But not all who are born will survive long enough to learn the same secrets. And in the open ocean, being small means being seen. Golub, mini story block 5. Carried by the currents, the tiny octopus weaves into a world it does not understand. No shelter, no protection, no second chances. Its body is small, almost transparent, soft, exposed. Around it, the ocean is vast and unforgiving. Shapes move in every direction. Shadow pass overhead. Everything is larger. Everything is a threat. Instinct begins to guide it, not learned, not taught, but written deep within its body. It sinks slowly toward the seafloor where survival might still be possible. Below, sand stretches endlessly, broken only by scattered fragments of shell and stone. Nowhere to hide, nowhere to run, and yet something inside it knows what to do. Its skin flickers, faint at first, uncertain. Patterns begin to form, imperfect, unstable. The colors shift awkwardly, struggling to match the world around it. Not fast enough, not precise enough. A shadow passes overhead, a predator, drawn by movement. A small octopus freezes instantly. Its body flattens against the sand colored trends. The recess trying to become the seafloor itself. But the illusion is incomplete. The outline is still there, still visible. The predator circles once, then again, closer. The distance tightens into a fragile moment. Days where most never survive. This is where instincts must become action. Suddenly, the tiny octopus moves, not away, but differently. Its body shifts rapidly, cycling through patterns, textures, shapes, searching, adapting, becoming. For a split second, it aligns perfectly. The sand, the light, the shadow, gone. The predator poses, confused. It circles again, but the target had disappeared. Not escaped, not hidden, simply no longer there. After a movement, after a moment, it drifts away. The danger passes, and the small octopus remains still, as if it has always been part of the ocean floor, learning, adapting, surviving, because in this world, being seen is death, and being seen and being unseen is everything, but far beyond the open seafloor, in water shaped by something far more powerful than instinct. Even the greatest master of the illusion cannot control what is coming. Call Loop, Mini Story Block 6. Far from the untouched reefs, the ocean begins to change, not with the rhythm of currents, but with something else, something unnatural. On the seafloor, a lone octopus moves cautiously through a landscape and no longer behaves the way it should. The sand is disturbed. The water carries unfamiliar particles, safe lie scattered across the ground, but they are not coral, not rock. something artificial, something that does not belong. The octopus approaches slowly, its body shifting colors instinctively, trying to understand what it sees. A piece of plastic drifts gently with the current, catching light in unnatural ways. It reflects too brightly, moves too differently. The octopus pauses for a moment. It tries to become it. Its skin shifts, mimicking the pale, translucent surface. Edges soften, texture changes, but something is wrong. This is not part of natural world. It evolved to imitate it. The illusion does not fit. Nearby, a shadow passes overhead, a predator again, but this time the environment offers to help. No familiar pattern, no reliable disguise. The octopus reacts quickly, shifting again, searching desperately for something that works. Rock, sand, shadow, nothing aligns. The predator circles one, then locks in, because for the first time, the octopus is visible. It releases a burst of ink, fleeing instantly, body jetting backward in the desperate escape. The water fills with darkness once more. Confusion returns. The predator loses track, and the octopus survives, but barely. It's slow only when distance finally separates it from danger. Settling onto the seafloor, its body still shifting, uncertain, unstable, adapting, but struggling, because in this world it's no longer the one it was designed for. And in the place where survival depends on becoming something else, what happens when there's nothing left to become and across the ocean? This silence change continues. This silence change continues unseen until it is too late. Part 5 Expansion. For millions of years, the ocean has been a world of adaptation. Creatures change, evolve, refine their survival with every generation. The octopus is one of its greatest creations, a master of the sky, shaped by a world that rewards illusion. But now, that world is changing faster than evolution can follow across vast stretches of ocean. The seafloor no longer looks the same. Coral reefs, once alive with color and complexity, fade into pale skeletons, bleached, broken, lifeless structure that no longer offer protection or concealment. Without them, the octopus loses more than shelter, it loses context. Because camouflage is not just about changing color, it is about making something real. And then that something disappears, so there's the illusion in other places. the water itself begins to change, warmer, more acidic, subtly altering the chemistry of life beneath the surface. Eggs become more fragile, growth becomes uncertain, survival less guaranteed. And then there is what the ocean was never meant to contain: plastic drifting endlessly through currents that carry it across the entire ecosystem. It does not decay, it does not disappear, it simply accumulates. For a creature that learns by observing and adapting, this creates a new kind of confusion. What is natural? What is safe? What can be trusted? The octopus tried to adapt, mimicking safe. It was never meant to understand something is worse. Sometimes it fails, and in the wild, failure is absolute. Yet even now, it continues, learning, adjusting, surviving in fragments of a world that no longer fits the rule it was built for. Because survival had never been about perfection, only persistence. But there is a limit to how much any creatures can change, and when that limit is reached, even the greatest master of illusion can no longer disappear. Part 6. Ending. In the vast silence of the ocean, most things are never seen. They move between currents, between light and shadow, existing only for those who know how to look. The octopus were never meant to be noticed, not like the great predators that roam the open waters, not like the creatures that travel in numbers. It survives in different way, by becoming part of everything and nothing at all. A shape that changes, a presence that fades, a life lived in fragments of illusion. For its prey, it is the last thing they never recognize. For its predators, it is the one that vanished before the hunt could begin. And for the ocean, it is both a creation and a reflection, a reminder that survival is not always about strength, but about understanding the world well enough to disappear within it. But as that world begins to change, so too does the meaning of survival, because of the greatest illusion was never the octopus itself. It was the balance that allowed it to exist. And now that balance is shifting wildly, relentlessly, relentlessly, until one day there may be nowhere left to hide, nowhere left to become something else. Only a world where everything is seen and nothing can truly disappear. And somewhere beneath the surface, an octopus still moves, still changing, still trying to become a part of a world that no longer look the same.